All right, so this is our Algebra 1, Test 6, Lesson 1 through 30 review. We're going to just take a quick look through here and try to answer as many of these questions as we can today. We'll pick up tomorrow with whatever's not covered. Hopefully everybody's got pencil and paper out. All right, so I don't have the answer key in front of me. I think we can probably pull these things up and look at them as we need to. All right, let's look at question number 1. The students in the astronomy club are selling snacks to raise money for a planetarium field trip. If they sell X muffins at 40 cents a piece, Y bags of carrot sticks at 20 cents a piece, how many dollars will they raise if they sell 60 muffins and 140 bags of carrot sticks? Okay, so I don't know, we'll see if this lets me write on it. All right, what type of equation am I trying to write here to start with? Okay, I got 40 cents a muffin, right? How many muffins am I trying to sell? 60, right? So I want to start off with something like that, correct? Right? How much are carrot sticks? 0.2. 20 cents. How many bags of carrot sticks? 140, all right? What am I doing with those two sets there? Well, I'm going to multiply these things by each other. Should add them, right? Okay, now I'm multiplying the 40 cents times the 60 because for every muffin I sell, I get 40 cents. So it's a lot easier to take 40 cents and multiply it by 60 than to add 40 cents 60 times. I even know that's the same thing. Okay? All right. But we want to add the totals together, not multiply them. Okay, that's going to give you a drastically different answer. Okay, so 0.4 times 60 plus 0.2 times 140. Okay, it should get a total of $52. Right, now, what's important here, right, is a couple of things whenever I go to type this into the test, is that I either need to have a dollar sign, 52.00, because we're talking about money, or I need to say $52, okay, or even, I probably would take this, okay, something along those lines. Does that make sense? Right? Because we're talking about something that exists in the real world, when we put it in to the test, we need to use real terms, okay? This isn't enough. That will be counted as incorrect, okay? Even though you got the right number and you did all the right math, we're getting to the point now where, we're almost halfway through the school year. We should know what the expectation is on these tests, correct? Okay, so where it was the first 2 or 3 tests, you got leniency, I went ahead and gave you the point. Those moments are passed by at this point, right? This is our 7th test. Okay, just so we know what's expected. All right, so let's see, let's check and see what the answer was on that. 52, so we see all the kind of different options that are there, okay, which is what we would be looking for, okay? All right, let's take a look at this. We want the subsets of each number. This has been on previous tests. This has been a SMART goal of ours, right? This is something that we want to know and understand, right? We need to know all the categories that something fits into. Now, let's see, and I think on this one, right, it just says radical 2, correct? Okay, so let's come up here. Oh, is it radical 36 over? What is this? Does it actually says radical 36 over 3? Okay. All right, because that's going to be important because that can simplify, right? What's the square root of 36? 6, and 6 over 3 is 2, right? So that fits into a lot more categories than it does just looking like that, right? All right, a lot of people assume that if there's a radical, that it must be an irrational number, right? Because we're used to seeing things like square root of 2 when we go and plug them in. All right, so all of these numbers, we've got square root of 2 down here. We got 1 over 9. We've got, what was that, negative 4, 250.01. Are all of these real? Yeah, they're all real. Okay? So we should go through and check real on all of those. Okay? Now, what makes a number irrational? No, the exact opposite of that. A non-repeating decimal, and what? It has to have it has to be both things. It can't be just one thing. And goes on forever. So a non-repeating, non-ending decimal. Okay? Do any of these fit that category? Radical 2. And only radical 2, right? So that's going to be the only one that I check there. All right? Rational numbers. Well, wouldn't that be anything that's not irrational? Okay, so if we establish that the only one in here that is irrational is radical 2, wouldn't that mean that all other options are rational? Yes. Okay, so you're not just finding a number, okay, it fits this one category, check the box. These numbers should fit multiple categories, right? Now, let's look at integers. Integers can be negatives, 0, and positives, right? But they're not going to be fractions, are they? Okay, so we're looking for nice, neat, whole numbers, okay, that can be positive. Well, I mean, as opposed to, it's going to be whole numbers, but we also get the negative side of it. Okay, so what in here counts as integers? Is one integer? Why not? It's a fraction. What about radical 2? No. Okay, what about negative 4? Yes. What about radical 36 over 3? Why? Because it simplifies to 2. Okay, what about 25.01? No. Okay? All right, now we can talk about whole numbers. Is negative 4 a whole number? Yes. Well, no, because whole numbers what? Start at 0. That's negative 4. It doesn't fit, does it? No. Okay, but 2 does, right? Which is this, right? Is it a natural number? Yes. Okay, so it should look something like that, correct? Now I'm looking around to see who's writing things down here. Okay, hopefully we understand it and we're not just trying to copy down, because you're going to get different numbers on test day, right? So if you don't understand, what to do with radical 36 over 3, on the test you could get radical 49 over 7. Well, what's radical 49 reduced to? 2. No, what's radical 49 reduced to? 7. Well, what's 7 divided by 7? 1, right? Wouldn't that do the same thing? So we need to be able to do this, but with different numbers, okay? So you have to have an understanding of the numbers, not just understanding of these specific numbers, all right? Does everybody understand what's up here? And I mean everybody. I don't want just like the 2 people that shake their head up and down, all right, to determine for me what the entire class knows. Okay, we're good here? Great. Because we're going to count this as a SMART goal. So if this question shows up on the test, I'd like to see us pass out of it. Okay? That means 80% of our class has to get at least 4 of these right. Okay? And you only get 1 of these right if it's right all the way across. So this question right here is worth 5 points. But you only get a point, right? So 250.01 is worth 1 point. But I have to get those 2 boxes exactly right. Okay? Does that make sense? I can't just get 1 of them right. Okay? And I can't select something extra that it's not supposed to be. You follow me? Right? That's how we get points on this. All right, let's keep moving. All right. Let's come up here. All right, so this question was a little tricky. I think I was working with Alex on this one yesterday. Okay? The time between a flash of lightning and the sound of its thunder can be used to estimate the distance from a lightning strike. Okay? The distance, and I think it uses, all right, so we're going to come down to 3a from this. The distance d from the strike is the number of seconds between seeing the flash and hearing the thunder divided by 3. So what I want you to understand is that this is telling you how to write the equation. That sentence right there tells you what equation to write. The distance d, okay, is, what is the word is in math? Equals. Okay, so d equals, the distance d from the strike is the number of seconds. All right, seconds is what? Time. Okay. All right, is the time between seeing the flash and hearing the thunder divided by 3. So what am I doing with t? Dividing it by 3. That tells me what my equation starts out with, okay? Now I take this equation here and I use it for 3a and 3b. Does that make sense? So d equals time divided by 3. All right, so this says write an equation using d for distance and t for time to find out how many seconds there would be between the flash and the thunder. All right, well, isn't this exactly what we need? Okay, d equals t divided by 3. What's, did we get something wrong here? Well, let's see how wrong I was. Okay, d equals t divided by 3. I apologize. Well, because I think the reason that I did that is because, here, let me go back to, okay, hold on. D times 3 equals t, right? All right, so yeah, it would be an equivalent, but because this question asks you to solve for distance, right, we need it as d equals, okay? All right, that's why that's why we do this, because sometimes I'll make a mistake in how I understand a question, okay? Do we understand this now? Okay. So it didn't cost you anything, right? We're not taking points off on the test from this point. All right. Let's see. Now let's look at 3b. Suppose you are 4 miles from a lightning strike. Okay, so where would we substitute 4 into this equation up here? Distance. So we would start with 4. Suppose you're 4 miles from a lightning strike. Solve the equation to find out how many seconds there would be between the flash and the thunder. So that would be 4 equals t over 3. How would I solve for time? Multiply by what? On both sides. All right, so 3 times 4 is, so 12 equals t, or t equals 12, and that should be seconds. Right? So anytime we're dealing with a specific type of unit, we need to include that. All right, so if you just wrote 12, that would be incorrect. Right? Even if you wrote t equals 12, we're not being specific enough. Okay? It needs to be 12 seconds. Right? I think she allowed t equals 12 on there, and so if she allowed it, I'll allow it. But you see on at least, over half of those, seconds are included. So if you want to be safest, right, put seconds with it. Okay? You're always safer to be more specific than to be less specific. How long does it take you to type out the word seconds? A second? All right. So it's not chewing up time, right? Let's make sure that we go ahead and we do that. Do we understand this question now? Okay. So I apologize for any confusion that I applied to that question when trying to help you yesterday. All right. 4, write the phrase 7 less than m. A bunch of you made a mistake on the last test when we saw this because you are reading less than like it's asking for an inequality symbol. It's not. Okay? Right? We're looking in terms of subtraction or addition. Okay? Not inequality. Okay? All right? 7 less than m. So what am I actually starting with? Am I starting with 7? No. What am I starting with? M. And then doing what to it? Subtracting what? 7. All right? 7 less than m. Okay, so it should be m minus 7. So if you are wondering on the test, right, the worst thing that you can do, the worst thing I can tell you is I can't tell you, but I'm telling you right here, if you see a question like this, you likely will, it's not an inequality. Okay, and I will not accept an inequality answer. Let's go ahead and check and see what it says there. right? M minus 7, nothing else. Okay? Are we clear? You got a question? Or are you just resting your hand? Okay. All right. 5. If a water tank has a capacity, you notice at this point how many questions that we've seen before, right? So far, have we run into anything new? No, so we should be getting better at these things as we go, right? Our test score should be going up as we continue to review old question types. So if a water tank has a capacity of G gallons, it's drained at a constant rate of D gallons per minute. The polynomial G minus dt. See, they give you all this stuff, and then they go ahead and they actually write the formula for you. So you're not even trying to think this out. Can be used to determine the amount of water in a tank. T minutes after it begins draining, how much water remains in a 3,100 gallon tank that has been draining for 144 gallons per minute for 12 minutes. All I have to do is take those numbers and substitute them in for the right variables, right? All the work has been done. All I have to do is substitute. Okay? So what is getting subbed in for G? All right, so 3,100 minus, what is D? Gallons per minute, right? So 144. All right, and what is T? Times 12. So all I have to do is that math right there. Okay, what do I do first? 144 times 12. 1728. So 3,100 minus 1728. I'm not doubting you. I'm just 1,372 what? Gallons. All right? That's going to cost a bunch of you on the test. It's not that you can't do the math, but we have to have labels on these things. Otherwise, I could be a real jerk and say 1,372 what? Liters? Milliliters? What are we talking about here? Okay? We need to be specific. Okay, let's see. Let's double check. All right, gallons, 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 gallons is our answer. Okay? So is 1372 without a label acceptable? No. Okay? Much better for me to be hard on you right now than you to find out on test day. Okay? All right. Convert 7.5 meters squared to centimeters squared. And it gives you all of the information, gives you the conversion chart, right? Right. So we have 7.5 meters squared we want to convert to centimeters squared. So in my conversion, where do meters go? On the bottom. Where do centimeters go? Okay. Do I need to do this just once or do I need to do it twice? Why? I do it twice because it's squared. Okay. Now, what is bigger, a meter or a centimeter? A meter. So that gets the number 1 on both of them, right? How many centimeters are in a meter? Does anybody know? 100. In fact, it says so right here, right? Okay? Even here if you need it. So there's 100 and 100. So I need to take 7.5 and do what? Multiply it by 100, and then take that answer and multiply it by 100. 7.5 times 100. 75,000 what? Centimeters squared. Okay? Does that help us out? Anybody get, I don't know how many of you got this wrong. Okay? Centimeters squared, centimeters squared, centimeters squared, centimeters squared. Do I get points for this if I have 75,000 and no label? No. Okay? Did we understand the work that went with that? Okay? Make sure here something. Sorry. All right. Okay, how many total questions were on this? 27? Okay. Sure. Okay, so our goal is to get through about maybe 14 of these questions, if at all possible. Okay? Hopefully everybody's, looking at the test, working through. Looks like most everybody is. Good job. All right, so give the domain and range of the relation. Determine whether the relation is a function. Okay? Domain is what values? Okay, and whenever I list them, how do I list them? Least to greatest. All right, and I don't need to repeat anything that if it shows up more than once. All right, what is the smallest x value? -1. Okay, then what? 0. And then what? 1. Okay, that's all I need. I know that I think on this one, and we'll take a look here in a second, that she might actually include these braces. What? Let me take a look here. Just what's the domain? We also need the range, so you might not have had the range. I don't know. Okay, what's the range? Okay, -5. I see that one. But what is range specifically? The y values. Okay, the y values. All right, so -5, what else? -1. What else? 1. Okay. All right. Let's see. Is this, all right, and it tells you that, okay, so this is A is the domain, B is the range. Okay, determine whether the relation is a function and choose the best reasoning for your support. All right, is this a function? No. Okay, so, we've got no, it's not. So we would want that. It's not a function. Can you tell me why it's not a function? This is important. Do you know? There's more than one what? There's more than one input. No. Doesn't have an output? No. Okay. So this is the sentence I want you to write down. Okay? This is what's going to show that it's not a function. Okay? If there is more than one y value for the same x value, it is not a function. Okay? Look at your x values. Are there any x values that repeat? What 0? Okay? Do all of those zeros have the same y value? No. That is what makes them not a function. Okay? So, if I was going to have to type a sentence, what I would type, there is more than one y value for the same x value. It is not a function. Okay? And I would point to 0, -5, 0, -1, 0, 1, and then say, the input 0 has 3 different outputs. Does that reasoning make sense? Do you understand that? The input 0 has 3 different outputs here. Okay, now it's not always going to be 0 that's a problem. Okay, but in this particular question it is. And graphically we would see this if we went to plot those 3 points here, right? If they're all have an x value of 0, But then I go and plot those y values, right? What am I creating? Does anybody know? Let's think about this for a second. Okay? There's an xy coordinate plane, right? 0, -5 is going to be somewhere down here, right? Okay, 0, -1 is going to be about there, correct? And what was the other one? 0, 1? It'd be about there. What happens if I connect those 3 points? What do I create? What? What kind of line? A straight line? Sure. Be more specific. A what? A vertical line. Why is that a problem? No, it's linear. It's in a straight line. Linear means straight. Okay? What does a relation have to pass in order to be a function? Does this pass a vertical line test? No. Right? How many times does that blue line cross that red line? 3 times? No, not 3 times. An infinite number of times. Okay? A vertical line will cross a vertical line an infinite number of times. Okay? Because as much as it crosses there, there, and there, it also crosses here, 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 here. You understand infinite at this point? Okay? Because it's infinitesimally small, the number of places I can come up with. All right, does this make sense? Do we understand the reasoning here? I need to know that you understand. Do you understand? Okay. Yes, I can ask around the room. All right. Now, I don't know if I can pull up on this chart because it always looks different for me than it does for you. So we definitely want no, it's not. Okay. Okay, now we need to find the right reasoning. Okay. So, you know, our reasoning is going to be on this line right down here. Let's see. Let's see what this says, actually. All right. Yes, it's function. It's a function because. No, we don't want it. It's a function. It's a function because. No, it's not a function because there is. And I can't read the rest of them, but you guys can, right? Okay. No, it's not a function. Not a function. It's not a function. No, well, after you pick either yes or no, you have to pick one of these down here. Do you understand? Okay, and I don't know why none of the, and it may not have even given you any points. I don't know what does the answer key say? Yeah. Yeah. All right, so it wants, see, you should have one option for this row, one option for this row. Okay? I don't know what that one says. Well, anyway, we're going to move on from that question. I'll have to get rid of this guy. All right, question number 8. All right, I don't know if I've showed this to this class. Is there any way to get rid of all of those fractions? Do what? Yes? No? Multiply all of them by what? Okay? Multiply all of them by the common denominator 10. Right? Okay, that would give me 10w divided by 10. Right? What's 10 divided by 10? 1. So that would just be w, right? What's 10 times negative 2? 10 times negative 2. What's negative 20 divided by 5? Negative 4. What's 10 times 1? 10. What's 10 divided by 5? 2. Do we understand how to do that? All right, now I want to solve for w. What do I do now? Add 4. Good. Isolate w. All right, so what does w equal? 6. Right? Do I have to have w to get this question right? Yes. Right? I need to know what I'm solving. Should be w equals 6. Now, I think in her answer keys, usually she doesn't capitalize the letter. So I'm not going to count it wrong if you capitalize the variable, the letter W. I'll have to go back through and fix it though. What's your question? Yeah, you can solve it a different way. I'm just telling you what I think is might be the quickest way. Okay. Huh? Huh? Okay, let's start over. Okay, what did I say? 6. All right. 10W, all right? 10 times W divided by 10 is just W, right? 10 times negative 2 is negative 20, right? Negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4, right? 10 times 1 is 10. 10 divided by 5 is 2, right? I'm just distributing the 10, okay, to the numerator. So it goes here, here, and here. So you could look at it as 10W divided by 10 minus 20 divided by 5 equals 10 divided by 5. Now I simplify all that. This becomes W. This becomes 4. This becomes 2. Does that make sense? All right. Sorry I didn't say all of that, but then we add 4 to both sides. We get W equals 6. Now, what Alex is asking is, can we solve it just the way it is? Absolutely. All right. I would add 2/5 to 1/5, right? So W over 10 is going to be equal to what? What's 1/5 plus 2/5? 3/5. All right. From here, right, that's a proportion. I can cross multiply and divide, right? What's W times 5? 5W. All right. What's 3 times 10? 30. All right. Divide by 5. Okay. What's 30 divided by 5? 6. Do I still get 6? Yes. Are there more than one way to solve these? Yes. Okay. Here's another way to think about this. Okay. If I've got W over 10 is equal to the ratio of 3/5, right? Could I double this to get this to the common denominator 10? Right? So W over 10 would be equal to 6/10, correct? So if 10 equals 10, then what does W equal? 6. Does that make sense? Okay. There's about 3 different ways to get there. Probably more than that. All right. Now, just so you guys are aware, before you guys leave here, I'm going to, later on today, I'm going to send you the information for lesson 36. What's going to be due tomorrow is just the notes for 36. Does that make sense? Okay. So I think we have a minute. Is that all we have left? What time are we out of here? 38. I got a couple more minutes. All right. This says solve for x. We should be able to do that, right? What do I need to do with this negative here? Good. That's exactly what I needed to hear. So 3x, what? No. Plus 4 plus 5 equals 29. So we want to rewrite it with the negative distributed. What's 3x minus x? What's 4 plus 5? Okay, what do I want to do with that 9? Subtract it from both sides. So 2x equals what? Okay, do what with the 2? Divide, so that x equals 10. Are we following all of that okay? You didn't put x equals 10? All right, let's see what this one says. X equals 10. She took 10 on this. I won't. Okay? If you're supposed to solve for a variable, I want to see x equals y equals a equals b equals whatever the variable is. You understand? Okay. We're good there? All right. 10. Nor buys a case of 375 tea bags. They use 9 a day. Write a function. In function notation, she can use to find the number of tea bags remaining on any given day. No spaces. All right. So we're using D for day, right? How many tea bags are we starting with? So we got 375. Okay. Are we going up or down every day? Down. All right. How many are we going down a day? 9. How can I represent going down? Minus 9 what? Minus 9d. That's how I can find out after how many days, right? I just multiply 9 times the number of days. So if it was 3 days later, we take 375 and subtract 27. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's check. Make sure we got that right. Okay. Now, because we are writing a function here, I would make this note, right? We want it in function notation, and they were clear on that. So just so we're clear on it, we need f parentheses d, close parentheses, equals 375 minus 9d. This by itself is not enough because it said it wanted it in function notation. This is function notation, okay? Do we understand each other? Okay, I'm trying to make sure that you guys know everything that you need to know walking into this so that you don't get things counted wrong, right, just because of the little nitpicky things. We all understand? All right, because I don't want to have to grade this, feel terrible, and then you're all mad at me because I didn't tell you. Okay, good here? All right. 11. Yeah, we got time. Solve the equation below. How many solutions are there? All right. What do we need to do here? Can we combine like terms on one side? Okay, what like terms on what side? Okay, so negative 5y and 2y. We can combine those. What do you get? Negative 3y, because negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Plus 11 equals 9. Are there any like terms over on the left hand, or sorry, on the right hand side? 9 minus 4, good. 9 minus 4 is 5 minus 3y, okay? Add the 3y. How do I move it? Add it. Okay. All right, what is negative 3y plus 3y? 0. So what we're saying is that it cancels out, right? And I'm left with what? What's left now? No? What's left? Look at what's left. 11 equals 5. Does 11 equal 5? Let's check. No solution. Does that make sense? All right. It's not 0y. It's just 0. They're gone. Let's see. 12. 0.63 of 84 is what number? What is the word of in math? Multiply. So if I need to, I'm going to write it as 0.63 times 84 equals, right? Okay, 52.92, right?
Did we just write that? You have to write like something.
Nope, it's just 52.92. But I want to see your work on your paper. Okay? Can you do that? I won't count it wrong if you do that, but you don't need it because there's no variable in the question. Okay? All right. I don't want to get started with anything else. If you were keeping notes somewhere, remind me that we're picking up with 13A tomorrow. Okay? I don't have your notes stuff for 36 cent yet. I'll try to get those sent at least during Aware. I probably will be able to get it done here pretty soon because Algebra 2 is about to take a test. Okay? All right, thank you. Hold on.